They say that time is a straight line, but in the world of love, hate, and fate, it's a circle that we can never escape. Every choice has a cost, every hero has a shadow, and every story has a soul. Welcome to Love, Hate, and Fate.
Condition applied, Soul Recoil. Condition applied, Memory Bleed. Temporary stat suppression, active.
Then the memories began. Not vague impressions, not distant visions. Memories with bone and breath. He was suddenly 14 and freezing, standing in a line of children dressed in gray-black cloth while masked instructors walked behind them with canes. He felt a bruise blooming under a rib. He felt hunger treated like discipline. He heard a girl's voice, Lyra's younger voice, counting dagger forms under her breath because if she stopped, they would beat her again. The scene vanished. He was himself again, sprawled on the floor of the veins, gasping. A second memory struck harder. Not his, not hers. Older. Moonlight on white marble. A balcony. Warm hands laced with his. A woman in molten gold silks laughing softly as she whispered, "They will never allow it, Ethelred." His chest broke open around the name. The vision shattered and was replaced with something from him that blasted into Lyra in return. A younger Kaelen in ceremonial armor kneeling before the Emperor of Solaris, swearing his life, his sword, and his soul to the throne because duty was the only inheritance he had ever been taught to honor. Lyra doubled over as it hit.
"Stop!"
She rasped.
"Stop thinking!"
"I'm not doing it!"
The shared heart thundered once, then stumbled into a ragged beat. They looked at each other across the wrecked chamber, both pale, both shaking, both suddenly far too full of one another. The white static behind the broken walls hissed closer. A splintered part of the Exactor rose again. Not dead enough. Its remaining arms dragged it toward them, core still flickering with purge light. Kaelen tried to reach his sword. Lyra tried to stand. Neither made it in time. Then an old woman's voice spoke from nowhere and everywhere at once.
"Honestly,"
It said, dry as winter leaves.
"must every generation of you insist on collapsing before introductions?"
The white static stopped. Not retreated. Stopped. The chamber dimmed. The pulsing walls of the veins shivered as threads of silver-black light began to spread through them like cracks in glass. They formed a circle in the air 3 paces in front of Kaelen and Lyra. A ring of thorned roots woven with moonlight. From within, it stepped a woman who looked as though she had walked out of a forgotten prayer. She was tall despite her age, wrapped in layered robes of ash gray and deep violet that seemed stitched from shadow and dust. Her hair fell in a single silver braid to her waist, threaded with bone charms and tiny metal suns gone black with age. The left half of her face was lined and unmistakably old. The right seemed almost untouched by time, as though youth and decay had called a truce across her skin. One eye was a cloudy winter blue. The other burned faint gold beneath a web of dark runes. In her hand, she carried a staff of white rootwood crowned with a crescent of black crystal. The half-reformed Exactor shrieked and lunged for her. She didn't even look at it. She tapped the butt of her staff once against the floor. Every remaining husk fragment in the chamber froze mid-motion. The Exactor's body cracked from inside, silver lines racing through its bark and armor. Then it came apart like rotten wood dropped into deep water. Kaelen stared. Lyra's daggers were somehow back in her hands despite her trembling arms. The woman's gaze moved over them, lingering not on their faces but on the blazing bond still stitched through their wrists. When she spoke again, her voice was softer.
"So,"
she murmured, and there was something like old grief in it.
"the world has found its eclipse again."
Kaelen forced himself upright enough to put his body between Lyra and the stranger.
"Who are you?"
The woman's mouth curved, though not quite into a smile.
Alive,
She said.
because I have spent a very long time being too stubborn to die.
The white static beyond the walls began to tremble again, pressing against whatever invisible boundary she had raised. She turned her head slightly, listening to it.
We have perhaps 30 seconds before the Star Eater remembers where to point its hunger.
She said.
So you may either continue this thrilling display of suspicion and internal bleeding, or you may step through my gate.
A second ring opened behind her. This one did not lead into darkness. It opened onto a place lit by silver-blue dusk. A garden, perhaps, or a ruin, impossible to tell at a glance. Kaelen's grip tightened on his sword. Lyra's voice entered his mind, raw from backlash but clear.
She knows the bond.
I noticed. I also noticed she just froze the purge.
That too. Can you read her?
Kaelen tried to lean into the heart's echo. What came back was not a clean emotion, but a depth of layered feeling so old it almost drowned him. Exhaustion, grief, resolve, and beneath all of it a terrible, patient hope.
Not hostile, but not simple.
The woman's gold eye flicked to him.
Be careful with that.
She said mildly.
I dislike being rummaged through.
Kaelen stiffened. Lyra, despite everything, almost laughed. The white static surged. Hairline fractures ran across the invisible barrier holding it back.
Now!
The woman snapped. She drove the point of her staff into the floor and slashed her thumbnail across her palm. Silver dark blood welled instantly. Instead of falling, it stretched into threads and wrapped around the portal ring. The gate brightened. Kaelen saw the cost in the motion. The woman's shoulders dipped with sudden strain.
This path will hide you,
She said, voice tightening.
but not freely. The labyrinth will smell the opening. If you survive long enough, it will come asking what I stole from it.
Kaelen didn't like that sentence at all. Another crack splintered across the barrier. Lyra stumbled to her feet first. She swayed, then caught herself. Her gaze never left the stranger.
If this is a trap,
She said, breathless and fierce.
I'll haunt you.
The woman's expression turned unexpectedly tender.
Oh, child,
She said.
I have already been haunted by better.
Then she looked at Kaelen. And for one impossible second, she did not see him. She saw someone else.
Aethelred.
She whispered. The name cut through him like cold light. Before Kaelen could respond, the barrier shattered. White annihilation rushed into the chamber. The woman made a sharp motion with her staff. Roots of black moonlight erupted from the floor, slamming into the incoming purge and buying them a single heartbeat.
Move.
Lyra grabbed Kaelen's wrist and pulled him through the portal. The transit felt like being poured through old memory. The world twisted into ribbons of silver, gold, and violet. He did not fall or fly. He was threaded. Around him, half-formed scenes flashed and vanished. Two hands joining over an altar of light, a city crowned in twin banners, blood on marble steps, a woman in gold holding a man in moon silver while soldiers pounded at the doors. One moment stood out from all the rest, a balcony beneath an unbroken moon. The woman in gold, his vision's princess, cupped the face of the lunar prince and said, "If the world asks you to choose between it and me, choose me once. Just once." The sorrow in the memory was so vast it nearly stopped his heart. Then the portal spat them out. They collapsed onto cold stone beneath a sky that had no stars. For several seconds, Kaelen could only breathe. The air here smelled of rain, wild herbs, old paper, and something faintly metallic beneath it all. The ground was moss-soft beneath polished slabs of black stone. When he finally forced himself to lift his head, he saw where they were.
A garden. No, something between a sanctuary and a graveyard.
Silver trees grew from circular beds of dark earth, their leaves chiming softly in a wind Kaelen could not feel on his skin. Thin streams of glowing water ran between the roots in careful patterns, joining at the center in a still pool that reflected not the sky above, but a drifting map of unfamiliar constellations. Beyond the pool stood a long, low house built from white stone and black wood, its roof tangled in ancient vines. Lanterns hung beneath the eaves, each lit with a violet flame that gave off no heat. Around the entire refuge rose a ring of broken arches, suspended in empty dusk as if the rest of the world had been torn away and only this fragment left intact. Lyra pushed herself onto one elbow and stared.
Where are we?
The old woman stepped from the portal after them. This time, when her feet touched the stone, she looked suddenly crushingly tired. The gate collapsed behind her into a shower of silver thorns that turned to ash before reaching the ground.
In the hollow between,
She said.
a place the system dislikes remembering.
Kaelen hauled himself upright, slower now. Every muscle in his body felt bruised from the inside. Lyra rose too, but unsteadily. The bond between them still glowed hot and erratic. The woman watched them both, gaze unreadable. Then she inclined her head, formal and ancient.
I am Vespera.
She said.
Some once called me court witch. Some called me traitor. The Labyrinth calls me stolen data. The dead, when they are feeling poetic, call me the widow of the veins.
Lyra's eyes narrowed.
That's not ominous at all.
A huff of breath escaped Vespera, almost amusement.
It is not meant to comfort you.
She pointed with her staff toward the pool in the garden's center.
Sit, both of you, before that bond tears itself wider.
Kaelen didn't move. Vespera's gold eye hardened.
You may glare at me later, son boy. Right now you are a half-broken vessel dragging a recursion event through your arteries. Sit.
Veins of molten light and glass. The Star Eater's hunger moved too fast. Overdrive became a painful bleed. 1,000 years of buried memory. In the hollow between, the archives fade. The widow's hands have built this quiet glade.
Ethelred, we're the Eclipse again.
The clock may have stopped for today, but the cycle continues. If you felt the love, shared the hate, or just want to see where fate takes us next, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Until the next chapter, thank you for watching Love, Hate, and Fate, and being part of the story.